Hi, my name is Papi Moshodi, also known as Iron Feather as my stage name. I'm a music producer, composer, sound engineer, music director, sound designer, and sound recorder. It's pretty much everything that involves sound in the production chain, I do. So I started off as a musician. Um, all my life, I can remember, I've always wanted to be involved in music, and I studied music theory. I've got like a grade five, and so how I ended up as an engineer was a friend of mine introduced me to a sound engineer because I needed my own music to be mixed, and so we actually got along with the sound engineer, and he threw me into the deep end. Like, hey, we're rigging for like a television production. Would you like to come and see how everything is done? And I was like, yeah, sure. Threw me in the deep end, showed me how everything was working, and then on the first day of production, he was like, hey, I've actually double booked myself, so can you handle this? And then I'll be on call if you need anything. And ever since then, I've just been like into it, and I actually found myself enjoying the technical aspect more than I do the creative side, even though the creative side is always there, but I started because I enjoy troubleshooting. So yeah, that's how I got into the sound. I was looking for a sound engineer for myself and ended up becoming one. Professionally, television and film, and then creatively, it's music. So I'm a sound recordist for largely long format. So it's like your documentaries, on your television, yeah, TV broadcasting, short films. I do mostly sound recording and final mix and mastering. Yeah, and sound design as well. And then radio mostly involves myself as a composer or producer. Yeah. So with syncs, because I started off as a musician, and I actually I'm a composer with Lalela, you know. So I got into that through a friend of mine who's working at ETV, and I got like a publishing deal. They gave me a brief to do about 6 songs. They were all like 2 minutes long. I did that and then got like a publishing deal. And then since then, my interest grew and I wanted to do it more. So that's how it relates. So I always, at first it was kind of tough because the admin side of things is like, it was very like door, what do you call it? Gate kept. Yeah, but then there's CAPASSO. So I use the CAPASSO rate card to find industry, related pricing, the length, what kind of brief it is, what kind of production it is, how long would the licensing be. Use that and then price accordingly. But sometimes it's tricky when it comes to because you find some clients don't have the budget to fit industry standard, so it becomes tricky there, where you have to then know your value and also know how to negotiate. But then once you understand the licensing and how usage and everything works, you can then reduce your upfront fee, knowing that you'll be getting your mechanical royalties and songwriter royalties and things like that. It is very important because the admin side of sync is very intricate. There's a lot of things that happen. So having a publisher gives you the advantage of They track your music for you. They register your notifications with like Samro, CAPASSO, your Sampras and whatnot, and it's easier for them to track how much of your music was used, the length, the duration of it, when it was used, and who it was used by, because with all that information, the metadata, it goes to like your requeues and stuff like that. So having a publisher is very important for the admin side of things. Your value is quantified properly, and you also don't necessarily have to do the negotiation, because your publisher, who knows industry standard rates and everything, will do that on your behalf. They obviously get a percentage for that, but it's worth it, you know. So firstly, you need to know what the client wants. My responsibility is to breathe life and motion into what the client wants. So largely, most of the time, the client doesn't know what they want. So you have to ask the right questions, you know, ask for references, you know, what is it for? And what are they trying to get out of the sound, or, you know, what kind of movement? Because music is so emotional. It's like, do you want it to be happy? Do you want it to, you know, to be sad? So my responsibility is getting enough information for me to materialize what the client wants. In my personal experience with a publisher, what happened is I got a brief to compose like library music for their library, right? And that was an exclusive deal, and it was I think, I can't remember, something like 3 years, and then they take a large percentage of usage and royalties, and you get the smaller. But once the exclusivity contract ends, you then get the larger percentage, and then they get the smaller. So yeah. I guess the shows that I've worked on uh, don't necessarily follow the popular trends. I know the Amapiano scene is like flourishing, you know, which is great, because it's also opened up a lot of doors for much of our younger talent, you know. I get more of your mature kind of briefs, you know, like strings or emotive kind of music, scenic, you know, and yeah, nothing as popular. It would be popular in that specific genre. I'm proud of all of my work. Yeah, even the work where I felt I didn't give enough, but then when I play it back, I appreciate it more because of simplicity. You know, I find that simplicity is always what works best when you keep things less complicated. But my favorite would be, there's there's actually, oh, it was my first film that I got to score for. So I did the sound recorders, I did the mixing, I did the sound design, and then I also did the score composition. It's a film called Date Night, you know. Yeah, and it was part of a pro bono project that I, you know, got the opportunity to be part of, because the sound engineer wasn't there, so I took the part and ended up doing everything that was sound wise. So it's a full jazz song, and I got to work with one of my close friends who's also a jazz musician. I like to be in the process because it reduces the amount of stress for me, because in production there's a saying everyone likes saying that we'll fix it in post, and when you get things in post, you get a lot of headaches, so being involved within the process for me makes it much easier, because there I get to ask the right questions at the right time and prepare accordingly, so that when it does get to post-production, I don't have to do so much work. Sometimes you find a director would be looking for more, ambience than music, but there's a way to actually structure ambience and make it sound like music, then oh, I can record this while we're on set, or instead of having to find all the resources after. So I enjoy the entire process because I also work within the whole chain, so it's easier for me that way. Have I? Yes. So with that, my first composition, well, it's not really my first composition, but it's one that made me the most confident, I guess to say. Yes, it was very involved because it started off on a high note with this character who, is like very charming and ends up becoming this horrible monster. And yeah, I actually went from a bright sound to something dark and gloomy and going back to, so yeah, I think that's kind of a round process of working within the character, fitting the sounds and emotional value of it. Yeah. I actually embrace technology and its evolution of it. And I like messing around with AI because I understand the purpose of it. It's to simplify work for me, not there to challenge me, because nothing can ever replace like human emotion, human emotion is something that AI can never replicate. So once you understand how to use technology, which I embrace a lot. I use a lot of gadgets and things that involve technology, like even the software that I use, plugins and stuff like that. I always involve AI. I actually composed a whole album where I was using AI, and I was just a musical director there to see how far I could take it, and came out as something, good, I think. One of my first challenges was not knowing how to justify my rates or give the right rate. But then the CAPASSO rate card actually helps a lot with that. Another one of the challenges was directors that don't know what they want. Most of them don't know what they want, and I had to learn to, have like a question sheet that I would then send to a director, and they would then give me, direction or lead me towards what they want. And then also just understanding the admin side of sync. That has been very tough, and it's been like a rewarding journey of information, Yeah. I see it being more accessible because of social media, and a lot of people are now also doing a lot of what you call it, like independent libraries, music libraries. But there's also there's ways to get around it. It's not as difficult anymore. You could as easily as just get a distribution deal with like your DistroKid or TuneCore, where they do the publishing for you. Or it has also made it easy for independent artists to get their music out there much easier, So yeah. put yourself out there all the time and invest in yourself, whether it be doing research or creating music all the time. And yeah, there's something as music producers we call throwaway beats. Don't throw away those beats, just like keep them, because they always work at the end of the day, you know. And just keep upskilling yourself. Keep upskilling yourself, practice. If you want to, like, take stuff from YouTube and replace it with your music, you know, just to see how you can actually execute certain things, and give yourself those kind of challenges. Better yourself in any way possible and ask the right questions. I am Papi Moshodi, aka Iron Feather, and you're watching Mokima Kona.